Okay, so I think what we're going to do is, I think it starts at section 5.2. So we're going to talk about sending data to JavaScript. What do we got here? We don't use toList. Okay. That's an import all, so it's complaining. It doesn't want us to import all. And same here. But we aren't using toList apparently, so we can just get rid of that. Okay. So, view size chooser. Yep, I remember this. So we have our radio buttons. Right. We have our fun little, I forget the terminology here, but this captures a message and returns a message, I guess. So that's handling our on slide, view filter, view loaded, then our update where the sort of magic happens. Okay, neat. So now our model has all the data it needs to calibrate the filters. We'll use some JavaScript to apply the filters, although this time not custom element. Instead, we'll write code that passes configuration options and a canvas element to a JavaScript function, which will then proceed to draw groovy pictures on it. Excuse me. You may recall from chapter 4 that an effect is an operation that modifies external state. Yep. Function has a side effect. Elm functions are not permitted to have side effects, but JavaScript functions are. Talking to JavaScript is like talking to servers. So like when we made random numbers. Oh, let's see if we can add. Yeah, here, click surprise. So use size. Loaded. Random.generate got random photo. Yeah, so I think what happens here is we basically pick a random number and then fire off another event that's got random photo, and then got random photo does this select URL from model status. Select URL, photo URL, model.status. Sorry, it's been a while since we looked at this code, so it's going to take us a second to remember. Status. Probably, yeah, a loaded list photo string. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so the command is going to ask the server to do something, and then it's going to fire off a message. If we're speaking to JavaScript, basically the same thing's going to happen. We're going to send a command to JavaScript, and then JavaScript's going to fire off a message. Something like it will have some characteristics in common with what we saw talking to servers. Data can be sent only by using a command. Data can only be received by an update. And the data must be wrapped in a message. And we can translate and validate this incoming data by using decoders. Okay. So I guess we'll start by typing down here. Type alias filter options. URL string filter list Mount int. Well, yeah, we can just use the type formatter. Okay. So this represents all the information our JavaScript library will need in order to apply the filters. So the URL that we want to modify and the filters that we want to apply. Make sense? Chapter 4, we created a command using HTTP send, but here we'll need to use a language feature designed specifically for talking to JavaScript, the port keyword. Which means we'll need to change the first line of photograph elm to, okay. So if we want this to talk to JavaScript, we need this port here. I guess that's what tells it to speak with JavaScript, or that it can. Supposing. Why is this complaining? Oh, okay. That's fine. So we can use this port keyword, port, set filters, filter options to command message. Okay. Port keyword must be followed by a function name and type annotation. Okay, so we did that. The type annotation must be for a function that takes one argument. The type annotation must be for a function that takes one argument. Filter option. The command must return, or the function must return command message and nothing else. Not even command capital message. Okay. Port commands never send messages. Our new set filters function returns command message, this lowercase message, and not capital M. But what's the difference? We know from chapter 3, the lowercase m means message is a type variable. Sure. This is the first time you've seen a function annotation with a type variable in the return type, but no type variable in its parameters. As it turns out, though, I've been using a command message for quite some time now. The official documentation for command none shows this type. I thought we used a lowercase message at one point. MSG. We did it for attributes, but not for commands. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I just saw the tearing, so this doesn't fix it. I think I'm gonna remove the. I'm gonna remove that sliding thing and just let it update statically or something, and see if that fixes it. I don't know what's going on with that, but I can see it on the top of my screen, but I don't know if it's even caused by. I don't know who's causing it. We can just disable it and see what happens. Done. We're gonna try and disable that thing, see if it goes away, because I'm seriously getting annoyed by it. I do really like this little streaming thing up on the top corner, but it means that we have this problem all the time, then it's not worth having there. Not like it changes all that much either. Okay, here, edit this, and we will turn this ticker off. Save. Okay. So let's see if that fixes it, and then we'll go from there. if you notice it, dear viewer, please let me know. The top of the screen there. I'm wondering if it's just because of that, and I need to do something different for those kinds of notifications. All right, anyway. A command message like this by itself, like this, is a command that produces no message after it completes. A command that produces no messages has the type command little message. A subscription, for example, sub.none, that produces no messages has the type sub message, lowercase. And a list that has no elements has a similar type, list val. Both command.none and set filters produce no message after completing. The difference is command none has no effect, whereas set filters will perform the effect of sending data to JavaScript. You can think of set filters as a fire and forget command. Okay, interesting. I assume that the fire and forget is going to deal with something. We're going to need something back later. Like, how do I get it back? Maybe I can't get it back. Maybe that's the point. Not sure. Clicked photo. Clicked photo. Did I not? Okay, so we need to modify this function. So we're gonna have let filters you Hey Freeman, what's going on? We got ripple. Model ripple. Nice. Yeah. I was almost not wanting to stream. I was super tired for some reason. Noise. Okay, so we have some filters. Our URL is what do we want that? Yikes. 9 hours is a long time. Okay, so command set filters. Oh, I see why I need the URL. But isn't that part of the model? Status. So I think we want to do yeah. model. Status. Loaded. I don't exactly understand this yet. We'll see here in a second. So URL prefix. I'm wondering if I went off selected URL and did something I'm not supposed to, which is very likely. So URL equals URL and filters equals filters. Okay, so we need to deal with this. Select URL image. Okay, it takes a string and a status. String and returns a status. But I don't have a single. Where does it pick the first picture? That's the question. I don't remember how it decides that clearly. View loaded. Selected URL. Oh, it's part of loaded. I see. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have the notifications of people going live. I think that actually, has anyone seen, so Freeman, if you see the screen tearing at the top, could you let me know? I think it was coming from my overlay. Like I had a dynamic overlay, and I think that was causing an issue. But I haven't seen it pop since then, so I'd be curious. Yeah, you'll see it like literally at the top of the screen along here if you see it at all. But I was having a similar issue to yours, but I think it's actually caused by my overlay. I don't think it's actually caused by my computer. Okay, so we have this loaded photos, so we can basically do a case on that. So we need selected URL, and what's URL prefix? I don't know where that comes from. I think it's just this. Like this is the URL prefix. So we could define that. We could define this separately, I suppose. Let's do that. So URL prefix is going to be a string. URL prefix equals this. Excuse me. And then we should be able to just stick this right here. URL prefix. And we should be able to just look for. I want to make sure we replace all cases of that. Thumbnail. No, they're all a little different, so we'll just leave it like that. I mean, we could probably abstract the element action one out as well, but let's just leave URL prefix like this. Okay, so then we need this selected URL. So here we need to get it from the model, but we can only get it Loaded photos. What does this do? Returns a status. So, okay. Where does this clicked photo? Oh, it's just image. I just called it something different. I think it's just image. Like this. Okay. Then we have command. And it's unused right now. Why is it unused? Oh, because I have to stick it over here. Command. So we're no longer using command none because we're actually going to fire off something. So that's going to send it off to JavaScript. So that's what this is doing, this set filters thing. I don't think it does anything yet because we haven't defined a body for the function. But I assume we have to define a body. Otherwise, it's not going to do anything. Okay. And is this failing or is it working? Oh, it is working. Interesting. Well, it's not applying any filters. It's not doing anything yet. Okay. We can move these, but nothing's going to happen. We're storing the state and keeping track of it, but it doesn't do anything yet. Okay. So we're going to have a function called why did it just okay 262 apply filters, only one of these, model to model command message. Do I already have an apply filters function? I don't think I do. Model case model status of loaded photos selected URL let filters I just saw it. But it's not the overlay. Although, I mean, I guess maybe it's still the overlay because I'm using like an overlay from the internets. Maybe I should just make, well, I can't make it dynamic then. Oh, that doesn't go there. I don't know what to do with mine. I don't know why it's still doing that. Doesn't make any sense to me. All right, so we got our filters. Oh, I see. I think that this is just gonna kind of move into here. So this will go there. Okay, this goes away. This becomes selected URL. And then so if it's loading, we do nothing. If we've errored, although I don't know how that works yet, we do nothing. Oh, I should have used change inner word there. And then up here, we just pass our model. Actually, well, I think we still want this. What's image here? I think this is selected and photos. As far as I can tell, it doesn't use photos anywhere. So all we need to know is this. I guess. And we also don't use this error message, so we can just do that. And we can format our code. Okay. Now we can have both clicked photo, got random photo, call apply filters directly. So we can just change all of this to apply filters. Hey, Oren. Model. What did we have here before? I see. So this becomes apply filters. What goes here? But we don't need to put anything here because we no longer have a tuple, and then this all goes away because we have select URL for an image, which the image doesn't even matter, which is a little strange, but that's fine. And then for clicked photo, got photos, clicked photo, oh, got random photo, we basically do the same thing. Hey, Prutz. Yeah, back to Elm. Nightmare in Elm Street. Yep. I want to finish this book. I hate the fact that I left the book unfinished, so we're going to finish it. It's bothering me. The other thing that's still bothering me is the fact that I have screen tearing and I don't know how to get rid of it. What if we disable the overlay entirely and see if that does anything? So if either of you see the tearing at the top of the screen, it's going to be along this line. Could you let me know? I'm trying to figure out if it's the overlay or if it's just my computer. I actually like upped my bitrate and lowered my resolution a little bit to see if that helps. Hey, Pick. Or should I call you Ken? I didn't make the connection on Twitter for some reason. Yeah, we'll see if it comes up, but it's driving me a little bonkers. It shouldn't be happening from what I can tell, but I mean, who knows? All right, so now we got these apply filters things, which I think basically does nothing. Like we're firing off a message to JavaScript every time we click a photo, I guess, but like it's not doing anything. So what does it say anything about that? Just says build succeeded, so okay. So like you can just fire stuff away to JavaScript even though nothing is catching it. Seems fun. Okay. So now we're gonna write a bit more JavaScript. Whenever we access a JS library from Elm, it's best to write as little JavaScript as possible, because if something crashes at runtime, it's a safe bet that the culprit is somewhere in our JavaScript code. Yeah, no, but I saw, like, I did see your name previously, so that's why I was surprised I didn't make the connection. But also, like, I only recently separated my personal and streaming Twitter, so maybe it was just because I was like going through everything again, and then I made the. Okay, so we're going to use apparently an open source image filtering library, and we're going to put that right in here. Called Pasta. Script. Elm.js. I don't have an app.js. I have an Elm.js, but that's probably okay. Script source equals https Elm in action pasta.js. Is this how you do script? Okay. This script adds a global JavaScript function called pasta.apply to the page. It takes two arguments: a canvas element, which is where apply will draw the filtered photos, an options object, which in a remarkable coincidence has the same structure as our filter options record. Elm will be sending JavaScript via our set filters port. So let's introduce the canvas. We can do this with a quick change to our Elm file. Okay. So now we need to deal with this canvas bit. Photogroove Elm. In view loaded. Image class large. We're going to replace this with canvas. I'm working right now on a small project with Safe, F# full stack with Elm. Is the Elm like front end? What is that thing called? Elmish? Is that one? I feel like I've heard about this before. All right, so we got a canvas, and it needs an ID. We'll call it main canvas. Okay. So this is, I guess, all we're doing is defining the place or the canvas from Elm to which our index HTML will somehow explain what we're going to do. So now we have var app equals. Uh-oh, we're writing JavaScript on the page. How do you like it? Ports set filters subscribe function options they don't have a space here. Is that like traditional for JavaScript? pasta.apply document.get element by ID main canvas options. Close. Does this look like JavaScript? I feel like it does. Function options. Yeah. That looks about right. Okay, so this, I see why this is fire and forget. It's like, all we're doing is saying, hey, I'm done with this image. Just go do your JavaScript-y thing. And that's what this subscribed is doing. So every time we make a switch in Elm, it's just like, we'll go do the pasta.apply business. Interesting. We've never needed to return value of Elm photo groove init, right? That's this piece. Okay. This all makes sense. Okay, let's try it out. So they say that this is going to happen. So nothing is happening. Nothing is happening? So I don't. It says it's supposed to do something, but it doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't even show the image. I think we need to figure out what's going on there. Maybe there's an actual error. Photo. Sorry, not here. Not there either. This build succeeded. This kind of stuff always is really hard for me to figure out. Because, like, there's no error. Code compiled doesn't work. Okay. So it's probably not in this view filter function. View thumbnail, probably not. Oh, let me this big. I wonder if, like, we're not setting the right state somewhere. We have this view loaded function, but we're never hitting loaded correctly. That would be my, like, initial guess. So where do we update our model status to containing the photos? So loaded. Okay, so we're supposed to go get the photos, and then we should get the status back. And yeah, this is where we get our photos. Then our apply filters function does apply filters. Hmm. I'm not really sure what's going on here. We'll have to see. Maybe it will become clearer as we move on. But I'm not entirely sure yet. So it says we need to convert these to some floats, and we'll divide it by the maximum value. So it's a percentage, basically. What is this complaining about? Oh, our filters probably needs to be a float. Yeah. So selected, no, filter, options, amount, float. Okay. So changing as we slide. Maybe way more fun if the photos update every time we slide. We know that apply filters calls our set filters port. What we need to do is run our apply filter every time we slide. Okay, so we should have slide Q, and we should be able to do apply filters with the model, and we should be able to do the same for the ripple. Ripple. And we should be able to do the same for the noise. Okay. That makes sense to me. Oh, I just called it amount. They used more specific names, but that's okay. Let's see if that fixes the sliding issue. Still nothing is printed, which I think is weird. I probably, not sure what I broke. Not sure what I broke. I'm very confused. Does it work if we change this back to just image? Yes. So just by changing it to a canvas, it breaks. But if I select a new one, it doesn't do anything. So they were saying that this should do something. Like it should show up in the canvas, but it's not showing up at all. Is it? This only changes that. This doesn't do anything over there. Also, the surprise me button is broken. See that? If I change it back to an image, is the surprise me button broken? Oh, it is broken. Okay, so that's sort of good. Canvas, which means the click surprise is broken. It works the first time. So something is up with our status. Select URL image, model status. Sure, this looks fine. Got random photo. Something is happening to our status, right? Model.status should contain the photos. Why does set filters need the URL? Why does it care? I don't understand. Main canvas. Did I flip canvas main and main canvas? I did. Main canvas. No, I spelled it right. Main canvas. But something is broken, specifically with the model status. Once we have loaded, it's somehow going back. Okay, anyway, let's add this other change and see if that fixes anything, because I am super confused. So we need to add something in here. Request animation frame. If this fixes, I'm going to be very annoyed. Function with no arguments. And then I guess we put that there. Oh, I need the curly brace as well. Oh. Oh, okay. Well, that actually works. I thought it was stuck, but it seems okay. But we still don't get any display here. So what does this thing look like? There's just nothing in here. It's a completely empty canvas. I probably need to put the image in there, don't I? I bet I just missed something. We do this a lot. Where the hell is it? I mean, those are okay. I see. So the options describe the URL itself. So it might mean that something is wrong with the URL. Maybe. So how does selected URL work? View loaded. Oh, interesting. So this source isn't even there. I need to get rid of that. Where'd it go? That source doesn't even do anything. Does that fix anything? No. That could be helpful. I'm just confused at, so like, if we inspect this, there's nothing in here, right? It's just, there's just this, the ID in the class, it doesn't contain anything. So how do I, that's what I don't understand. I'm wondering if it's because I actually set this up such that the URL is just the correct value. So all you have to do is say selected URL here. Did that even compile actually? Yes. I don't fully understand what I did. Okay, let's see if we can figure out what Orange just sent, because I don't understand what's going on. Oh, we can, okay. First, let's just quickly, where does that even come from? Keep going. But where does this come from? To inspect a particular event, replace debug log in my update function. Can I just write that? Oh, okay. I can just write that. So I guess we do debug log selected URL. Use of debug log. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So let's just see what the value is and see if it comes out of the JavaScript each time. Because it should, yeah. So console. Sure. Pasta is not defined. Nice. Okay. Well, this has nothing to do with my code, potentially. We're getting just pasta is not defined. I think I see it. Okay, so now we're just getting, so the selected URL is just actually the image name, though I do need to do that, but that's okay. So you can't use, yeah, I did that. That's really helpful. What I don't understand is why that doesn't show up here, right? Like I have this Elm search thing, and I would expect it to find debug, right? Because this is sort of Hoogle. It's just in the core library, which makes sense. Maybe I have to look up log. Okay, I can't look up debug, but I can look up log. So, okay, fine. Thanks, Elm. All right, so we're done with that. And we need to define our URL as URL prefix large selected URL, and then change this to URL. Oh wait, no. That's still selected URL, and this is URL. By the way, URL is very fun to say. I just want to let you know. We should all, if that's not a thing, everyone should call it URL. URL. All right. Oh, we have two larges. Okay. Because I changed the URL prefix, which is fine. Okay, but it still doesn't show on first refresh, even though we wrapped it in that animation frame thing. It seems like once we get the thing loaded, let's okay, so it says in timing ports and rendering, we initialize model status to loading. We request a list of photos from the server. View runs and does not call view loaded because model status is loading. Because view loaded is never called, the canvas is never rendered. The server responds with our photos, meaning update gets a got photos message. Update runs in got photos branch and returns a new model with a status that is no longer loading, as well as a command that instructs our JavaScript code to have pasta render the canvas. Step 6 tells pasta to render the canvas, but as we notice in step 4, no such canvas has been created yet. This means pasta apply document get element by ID blah 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 will fail. This, okay. Shortly after this happens, Vue will run again with a new model. This time, model.status will not be loading, meaning Vue loaded will happily ask for a fresh blank canvas. If Elm would have rendered the view before running the command that invoked pasta, the canvas, I don't know why I can't say canvas. Okay. Yeah, but that doesn't work for me. It says I should be able to just wrap this in request animation frame and it should work, but it doesn't. Did I not ever save that maybe? If I click this, it works. Kind of fun. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. It's way too much. It hurts my eyes. Okay. I guess that's better. But on first page reload, this still isn't happening. This doesn't fix the problem. Any Elmers in the chat know why this doesn't work, even though it tells me it should. Maybe I should just like restart this thing and see if that changes anything. Maybe if I run it with not this. So how does this work? Elm. Oh, right. I forgot about this thing. Elm make reactor. It doesn't work. It's still blank. That doesn't fix anything. It's a little frustrating. I was wondering if maybe like this would, running it with plain Elm or whatever would fix it, but guess not. So we need to do some Googling. A request animation frame Elm in action. That's from 2017. It's a timing issue. Okay, let's see if it's a timing issue. Set timeout. I mean, I don't know how I'm expected to know this. How do you comment stuff in JavaScript? Will that work? Those are HTML comments, so I would guess not. Is it just this? Yeah, okay. It seems to understand. So we should be able to do set timeout yeah. Nice. Thank you. I've never written really any JavaScript. So but that timeout just takes a function. I presume that it can take any function, so I should be able to just write this in here. And I assume that's probably 2 seconds? 2 milliseconds? I don't know what this means. Interestingly enough, this doesn't cause this to trigger, so that's useful to know. JavaScript set timeout. Three seconds. What if we just do we're trying to like wait. Do I need to put this in a function wrapper? Like, do I need to do this? I don't have a dang clue. About 10 seconds. Doesn't do anything. Certainly waited longer than 10 seconds and nothing is happening. So wait 5 seconds and then do the thing. Oh, wait. Maybe we want to say subscribe to it after 5 seconds. Maybe what we actually want is this. Like, don't even subscribe. So that's that. And then we get rid of this and do like 5,000. And that closes. Oh, nope. 5,000. So that describes our function. Maybe something like this. Because it says it's making a new canvas for us. That doesn't seem to do anything either. Oops. I don't know. Oh, I shouldn't have. Where'd that go? Elm. Wait for map. If element, callback, else wait for map. Elm code requests support to be invoked by returning the appropriate command from the update function. I totally agree. Okay. Yep. We solved it by using custom elements. So they seem to suggest, this person seems to suggest that I can do this by wrapping it twice. So let's try that. I don't know. So I put this back, I delete this, and I uncomment this. Nope, that doesn't work. And then I need to close these parentheses, and then we'll wrap it a second time. Excuse me. And then this really should just be like that, right? Yeah. I guess. I don't know what the stylistically is this supposed to look like. If these are supposed to be tabbed out one, I mean, one would argue yes, I suppose, but it doesn't really matter. So I can't explain any of this. Like this doesn't really mean anything to me. And that doesn't even work, so as soon as I touch something, it's fine. But it's not fine. This is kind of frustrating. Yeah, so my understanding is basically the order of operations here is, sorry. So I subscribe to this set filters thing through this ports mechanism. And it's drawing a canvas. And then Elm is going to get its images. Elm goes and gets its images, but before they come back and like my model status is updated, it redraws the canvas. So let me show this code. So after we get the photos, we basically update the status. Oh, here, sorry. We update the status to loaded. And then once we get the loaded files, where is it? Sorry. Once we get the loaded files, this canvas gets redrawn. And somehow that's the problem. I don't know. It's yeah, okay, so let me read it this way because it says it in the book. It's going to be easier to explain, I guess. So model status changes to loading initially, right? That's our initial state. Initial model loading, right? Because we haven't loaded our images or anything. We request a list of photos from the server. So that is http.get somewhere. So that's this right here. So we're going to the URL and we're expecting to get some photos. That's that. View runs and does not call view loaded because model.status is loading. So view, oops. See, so here we have loading, so there's no view. And until we get loaded, that's when we use this view loaded thing. Okay. Because view loaded is never called, the canvas is never rendered. The server responds with our photos, meaning update gets a got photos message. Update runs its got photos branch and returns a new model with a status that is no longer loading, as well as a command that will instruct our JavaScript code to have pasta render to the canvas. Step 6 tells pasta to render to a canvas, but as we noted in step 4, no such canvas has been created yet. And our pasta apply function will silently fail. But shortly after that, view will run again with a new model. Or if we click anything, we rerun all of this again. But this doesn't, like, the solution that they suggest doesn't work. Unless I typed it wrong again, which is entirely possible. Let's just double check. We request animation frame function options. So yeah, I don't know. Something about the way that this works is just not correct. maybe what we can do is send, I don't know. I guess I should ask about this on the Elm forums or something. What do we think? I guess that's probably the only way to figure this out. There's probably some trick in here that I just don't know how to do. And also, where did they put the timeout here? We should try it this way. Let's see if we can make this work. Oops, wrong way. Okay, so we're gonna say wait. We can just call it wait for. We're gonna take a callback. We're gonna set the timeout. Our element is going to be main canvas. I don't know what the rules are for single and double quotes in JavaScript, but I've always been a fan of using double quotes. I also have no idea what the spacing rules are. So this is just a recursive function that waits. I hate the way this looks, but it's not really anything I control. I could put this in its own JavaScript file, I suppose, and then maybe it would look better. And then we just subscribe, wait for it, and then do something. Wait for, okay. Canvas. The draw map in this case is, oh, it's this thing. That's the port. What's confusing about this is that this is the port, but anyway, maybe this will work if we just do like this. I legit have no idea. Is this a callback or does this need to be an actual function? Do I need to make like this? Well, also there's a window.set timeout, which is different than before. I mean, I have no idea. I'm just trying stuff from the internet. Okay. What does, I mean, what does it say? Oh, I have a, okay, we're gonna move this into its own. Is this gonna be okay? Can I do it like this? I assume so. Is there a JavaScript formatter? Okay. Anyway. I missed. Oh, good call. Thank you. Initialize should probably go first. But doesn't it need this and this? I don't know anything about JavaScript, so don't like if this can go above this and it doesn't make a difference, that's totally fine. But something is broken over here. So we have initialize line 17. That one. Okay, that's probably correct. That looks okay. And then let's just clean this up a little bit. So function without a name apparently. Well, this one even. That's weird. Do people put spaces here? What's the protocol? Because yeah, I see the tearing again. No, it's just my computer. It's screwed. There's no fixing it. I don't know what to do. Can I put one here? Are these implied? I don't even know. I don't know what goes where. Okay, let's try this. It doesn't fix it. As soon as we click something, it's fine. So I don't know. Let's just. Oh no. A request. I don't know. Like I don't know what else to do. I mean, there's really nothing we can change, right? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know that. I don't know how to find a solution. Um, That doesn't mean anything to me. Let's see if there's any, there's some mention of this request animation frame. Ports, subscribe. You think window matters? I can't imagine window matters. But like, again, I don't have a clue. I suppose it's worth trying. Does anyone know? It's kind of a weird question, I suppose. Well, it doesn't seem to do anything. I got nothing. Sorry. Is this like an alternate function syntax that I could use? Okay, I'm not going to dwell on this. Although it's certainly frustrating. Okay, the next part of this is receiving data from JavaScript. So I think that we can get something back from pasta to like do something. And the way we deal with that is actually, so I saw the problem is basically that the order of operations is such that our canvas isn't drawn when we make the subscriber. And there's something about like we need to somehow wait for the canvas to be drawn before we can do anything. But even when I add like a set timeout to just like say, just wait 2 seconds before you do anything, that doesn't fix the problem. I even did like 10 seconds. So I don't, either something is wrong with my code or this just doesn't work the way I expect it to. I'm unsure. I don't know enough about it. Something weird is going on. All right, so now we're gonna have something called an activity. We have a status. Now we're gonna have activity, which is just a string. Activity string. Be an empty list, and then in our message got activity string. I think I'm gonna post on the Elm forum probably today, and like when we're done on the stream, and see if there's any information from somebody else they can give me. Because I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's my code, which is entirely possible. Like maybe I'm doing something incorrect, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, so now we have this. We've added a new activity, which shouldn't do anything. So we need to fix that. We need our update function. And at the bottom, you can see that this is failing because we need to add got activity. Well, it doesn't matter right now. We're just going to say model command none. So as a placeholder, we'll just say do nothing. And then our code should compile. And then in our in our initialize, we need to add some kind of listener. So there's like a pasta. Pasta's really funny name. Pasta.add activity listener function activity got okay. Add activity listener function to log activity to the browser's JavaScript console. We reload the page and open the console. We'll see activity messages. Earlier in the chapter, we sent data from Elm to JavaScript by using a command. Now we'll do it in reverse. We use something called a subscription, which behaves similarly to like a on-click handler, like an event handler or something. That's what it looks like anyway. Okay. So we need to define a subscription port. So we'll save this. And did I see this? I did not see that. Data sent from JS to Elm over the port is fast. Even if I don't solve it, I'll just ask somebody. I mean, I'm reading a book to learn Elm. I shouldn't be expected to be able to fix this, I don't think. Was it Command Control Shift I? Applied some tasty filters. Weird, but sure. So now we're going to have a port called activity changes, which is going to have the type string to message sub message. All right, so this is like outbound, this is like inbound. Okay. So we have this apply filters thing, and we also need subscriptions. I see the tearing. It's driving me insane. I don't even care what the model is. I guess we don't, because it's not updating anything. And then once we have our got activity, yeah, like if we use image, it's fine. So something goofy with canvas that I don't understand, or like the runtime plus, all of this stuff. So basically we need to deal with this in our view function. Where is this thing? So I think like underneath this canvas, we want to have like a message, some kind, to describe the subscriptions. We'll see. Oh, and I think yeah, so we need to write subscriptions. Okay. Okay. So now in our initialize, which is obviously a terrible name now, we can log the activity, and then we can do app.ports activity changes send activity. Okay, so that's how we send stuff back. Huh? There's a lot here. Just need to parse this. I've not changed my view function, so how would I see anything? Oh, I see. Because I need to write it. I just skip that part. Because, bad at reading. All right, so we're gonna basically pass the model back where we change the activity to activity. Oh, it's not like this. It's like this. Okay, and then we need to, in our view function, view loaded function, we need to display this. And where does it want me to display it? Above here. Sure. Div. class activity. Then we write text model activity. Sure. Okay. So now, with all that wired up, we should be able to refresh and we get some information up there. We'll get rid of this because it's awful. It's starting to get slow, like, even already, which is interesting. We wouldn't have guessed it to be that slow. The other thing is I want to change some stuff. I think that these are too high. I should have done that differently, but oh well. It's too late now. And then we'll also no. We'll get rid of that. Okay. Cool. So we would like to display an initial activity report that includes the version of pasta we're using. Something like initializing with pasta version whatever. Sending initialization data to program. Calling app ports activity changes send won't cut it here. Elm would still render initial model with model activity being blank. Flags are values passed from JavaScript to an Elm program's init function. Okay. Photo. The bottom here, we need flags. Remember that flags argument that oh wait, this is okay. That's fine. Sorry, they define this, but then they go back to using the lambda down here. It's a little awkward. And then we're apparently just going to turn this into an init function. Ugh, of course. So what is this going to be? Probably just a model? Float. Model command message. Version. Version. Do do do. All right, so I assume that it's like this. What's the problem now? Something is off the body. I didn't redefine init, right? Okay, let's see what the error is. The element call produces program float. Oh, I see. So this defines its inputs, and it has an input of float, which it needs to describe. Otherwise, this would have to be unit. Yeah, okay. It's written here. I just missed it. This is pretty interesting. So, but now I need to actually send those flags. And then we can just do, we pass the flags in initialize so that, where is it? Node is this. Nope. And we'll have flags pasta dot version, like so. Okay, so let's see. Everything has disappeared. Yeah. Nice. Is there anything in here? Nope. Absolutely nothing. It's broken. Sure. Okay. Let's see. Init. Node. Flag. Okay. If we want, we can use the same JSON decoders we used in chapter 4 to translate values from JavaScript into Elm. I know what it is. Sorry. I know what it is. So down here I wrote command none. That's not correct. I need to send the initial command, otherwise nothing will show up. And then, if I refresh, we should see initializing paste 4.2. I don't know why I said it like that, but I felt like it. And then, but still, we don't have this box. So once we do that, we can mess with the hue. Although, it seems to me like the hue should look much. Zero and 11 do the same thing. I don't really know what hue does here, but whatever. Okay. And so what we should do is go find the exact code that Richard ran, and then see if that causes the same issue. That's what we're gonna do. So is it just my version of the code, or is it every version of the code? That's the question. Just gotta remember. Okay. The complete source code for the application is available on GitHub.com RT Feldman Elman Action. Okay. GitHub RT Feldman Elm in Action. And then I guess we need this version. You can just use master, I suppose. Then we'll try and run it and see what it looks like, I suppose. And then we should run this. Okay. Oh wait, it was just a simple git checkout. Git checkout 0.19.1. So it does the exact same thing, because we gallery and we see this, and then we click. Actually, this doesn't work at all. Maybe I need to remake it? Isn't it supposed to make that? Oh, never mind. Source. Just called main, not photo group. I changed the name. That's on me. That's on me, folks. Okay, build succeeded. So if we go to gallery, we change. Doesn't even work. Well, we tried. Does just running it with wait, did I? Oh, okay, I did. I'm stupid. Sorry. Programming Elm in Action. Chapter 5. And then we just do Brave index. Well, at least our version works. Okay, I don't know how to fix this problem. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. And we also realized that that flickering is not from the overlay. So we can save.